Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about getting your reference letters for your grad school application, for university applications, or for professional position. How do you get references and who do you ask for these references? So, firstly, just to make clear, you do not need a reference from someone high up in the institute or from the president or the queen. You only need a reference letter from people who know you, who have directly worked with you. Because the purpose of an academic reference letter, or any reference letter for that matter, is to find something about you. What kind of a person you are? What do people who have worked with you or known you have to say about you? Now, just be careful. Just by people who know you, it doesn't mean you can use references from your family. Your reference letters should not be from someone you're related to. It cannot be your mother, father, your aunt, uncle, your husband, or your wife. It has to be a professional reference letter, either from your supervisors, your bosses, or teachers who have taught you if you are applying for an undergrad position. The key thing is to take a reference from someone who has worked with you for a few years at least. 1 or 2 year might also work if you are going for a PhD and if you've done a 1 or 2 year master's, or if you're going towards undergrad, then you can take a reference from someone in your college or someone in your high school, and that would be enough. Now, how many reference letters do you need? This completely depends on the place you're applying to. So, most universities or grad schools require two reference letters, but for PhD admissions, quite a few universities might ask you for three reference letters. That was the case for Oxford, so I needed three reference letters, and all three had to be academic because I had done my master's and was applying for a PhD. So you just need to carefully look into the application processes of wherever you're applying to, and first and foremost find out how many reference letters they require. And then you pick your referees. How do you pick your referees? So for example, if I give my own example, when I was applying for a PhD, one of my referees was my master's supervisor, my undergrad supervisor was my second reference, and the third reference I took from a teacher who taught me in my undergrad, and he taught me for 2 straight years. So that could give an idea of someone who knows me, who has known me as a student. So this is how you pick your referees. Now, what kind of references they should write? Just like the motivation letter, where you explain what you have done, you explain yourself, what you've done, why are you a dedicated student, you have to give examples, right? Similarly, in a reference letter, the referee needs to convey why you are the perfect choice for that particular institute or organization. And that means they need to give specific examples about you, about what kind of a student you were, or what kind of an employee you were. For example, if they say so and so person is a really intelligent student, well, that is really general. They then need to explain your intelligence, like you were among the top 5 students they've taught, or you did really well on all the tests, or you asked question in the class. So it needs to be accompanied with examples. One of my referees was really, really kind with this and detail. What he did was he went through the seminars or presentations that I had done or participated in during his classes, and he mentioned the topics of those seminars. And then he kind of said that she is a very intelligent student, always participates in class discussion, and she did presentations on so and so topic and conveyed her interest about new ideas in science and role of epigenetics and cancer and stuff. So that was like kind of an ideal recommendation letter because he drew from his experience about teaching me. What was his experience of having me as a student in his lab? Similarly, my supervisor mentioned that I take interest, I read different kind of literature, I come up with my own ideas, and he gave detailed analysis of the project I had done. It doesn't have to be very, very long, but every claim that they make has to be accompanied with an example, because you cannot just say she's an excellent student or he is a really hardworking fellow, but you need to give an example. It doesn't have to be cliched or just claims. Every claim has to be backed with supportive evidence or an anecdote which they could relate to. The thing that admission committees are looking for is details about you, what you have done, what you have achieved. And these do not have to be immense achievements. These just have to be kind of a window into your life as a student or your life as an employee. That is why they ask for references. They want your referees to be detailed about their time with you or their experience of working with you or being your teacher. So this is one thing that you need to make sure, that the referees you're picking can be trusted to do this. Sometimes they might not have the time to write the reference letter themselves, and they might ask you to write it for them. This doubles your task, but then you have the window to explain how you worked with them or what topics you covered in their classes and how you approached those topics. So you're writing about yourself, but from their point of view. It does increase your work, but when you're writing your reference letter yourself, it just gives you more opportunity to be clear. Just don't overdo it. Do not explain a lot of stuff that are good in you. Just explain everything with an example. And some of the universities might not ask for a reference letter. They might ask your referees to rank you on certain stuff. I know some universities in Germany did this. They would send them a form like what kind of a student she is, good, bad, excellent, something like that, and then they have to do that. So when you're picking your referees, make sure they have the time to do it and they would stay committed to do it, and they would submit in time. Ideally, this is your responsibility, that when you pick your referees, you give them a window of at least 2 to 3 weeks before they have to submit. Just don't barge in on them or put it on them on the last moment. Give them some time and politely remind them before the deadline so that you do not miss any of your deadlines. Because although reference letters only take about 10 to 20% of your entire application, and they only mean about 10% in the final decision, but they're really, really important. Without a reference letter, your application is not considered. So you need to make sure that they are submitted in time. So some of the things that you need to keep in mind is you pick referees who have worked with you, who can relate certain anecdotes about you and not just be too general. Don't pick referees that are head of the departments or are too busy or do not know you much, because they will most likely have one particular reference letter that they give to every student, and it will be very, very generalized. Remember that university applications and PhD applications really depend on personalized information about you, because they are trying to judge what kind of a person you are. If they are going to invest their time in you, you need to give them details about yourself. It doesn't have to be a generalized reference letter, because I know many schools and colleges give you a kind of a character certificate or a reference letter which is general. The first line for every person would be he or she is a bona fide student. Well, that doesn't work. You cannot use that as your reference letter. You have to make sure that the people you're trusting to be your referees actually will see it through, actually will help you. And you need to ask them politely, please give them more time to do it, and be honest with them about how many applications you're sending in. Do not barge them with too many applications and short deadlines. They need time, because probably they are teachers, professors, or professionals busy somewhere or the other. Just give them some time to do it, and hopefully they will do it, and they would want you to succeed. If they have been your previous supervisors or bosses who you have been working with very nicely, or you have been on good terms with them, you need to be on good terms with people who you want to take help from in the future. So pick up your supervisor as a referee, pick your boss as a referee, and then make sure that they submit your reference letter in time, and that the reference letter they submit is not a generalized reference letter. It is personalized to what kind of a student or employee you are. So that is all from my side for today. I hope you found this helpful. If you have more questions, please comment down below and I would be happy to answer. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And I will keep sharing more information about university admissions and PhD life. Thank you.